What? Serve made us brownie. We still owe you Korean barbecue, by the way. So just, whenever you want to cash. Oh, wait. Is that a notebook? Is Serve about to drop some notes on us today?
I just brought my laptop, but...
You're not on the air, but she said she brought her laptop. It's all good. Yeah, courtside left condoms on the table. That's why I was like, this is going to be problematic. Apparently.
Speaking of problematic, we got you your own intro now.
Yeah. Wait till you hear it. And I just want to say, like, I don't know what's more problematic, these condoms on the table or the fact that, Pharrell was out here looking like a Pokemon.
Oh, my God. Can you get over Pharrell, bro?
No, because I had so many jokes in the Good News group chat and everybody was dying and laughing at him.
You had a whole 2 people laughing.
Nah, people know. It shows you who saw what.
Too late.
Nah,
your shit was getting 2 likes.
Nah, like 10 people saw that shit. They know. But don't. Yeah, you gonna play a sound effect or what?
Yeah,
I lost it.
I seen it. It said 420.
Typical.
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. That brings me back. Yeah, that brings me back to my college days.
Speaking of college, the Rams run a college offense, and that's why they're failing. There, I said it. It's just run and gun. There, I said it. You can get mad all you want to, but I'm just letting you know, Pete. You're not going to keep slandering Brandon Cooks. I know you don't like Oregon State football players, but...
I like Steven Jackson.
How many years ago was that?
You were literally talking shit about Oregon State receivers 2 weeks ago.
Mike Haas.
You were talking shit about
They're
Oregon
trash
State
now. Oregon
State
State's bad now, bro. They're bad in the Pac-12. They're bad. Like, they're terrible.
But yeah, man, ultimately, I think Jalen Ramsey can make a big difference with the Rams only because he's an alpha. Like, we've been talking about who's the alpha on the team. It's not Aaron. It's Aaron Donald's more of like Khalil Mack. He's a leader by example.
Yeah.
But he's not a rah, like, get around me, let me get everyone else going.
I'll smack you and hold you physically accountable.
Jalen Ramsey's that guy. And that's kind of what they needed because the closest thing they had was Eric Weddle, and he's pretty much washed.
The closest thing they had was Marcus Peters.
So you can only do so much.
You just discriminate against white safeties? The greatest white safety of this generation?
I think
name a better white safety than Eric Weddle since he came into the league. He was nice at Utah too. Oh, because you didn't watch Eric Weddle play at Utah. You might be right.
Nobody cares about Eric Weddle's legacy at Utah.
And I just said that he's the best white safety in the league since he came in. And you're like, he's
better than Harrison Smith?
He's better than Harrison Smith.
That's not saying much.
Harrison Smith is nice, but I mean, they could have easily put a great safety next to him. They just didn't want to. But anyway.
But yeah, what else? What else do you make of the Ramsey trade? Is it going to save the Rams season?
I think the Jaguars won big. I think this will salvage their season for them to get a wild card. They can probably win 10
How
games.
the fuck are they going to get a wild card trading away their best player?
I'm not talking about the Jaguars. I was talking
You
about...
said Jaguars.
I said the Jaguars won this trade because they got picks. They got picks, future picks.
Oh, you're saying the Rams can win a wild card?
The Rams can win a wild card, yes. They could go like 10-6 because the Niners have a
I don't know what you're saying.
The Niners have a stranglehold on that division.
What you're saying is like really contradicting yourself because on one hand you're blaming the scheme, on the other hand you're saying they're going to make a fucking wild card. So I'm confused.
Because the NFC has some pretty bad teams in it. In case
actually the NFC is pretty stacked. Like honestly,
name a team that is going to beat out the Rams for a wild card if the Niners win the division or the Seahawks.
Bro, I'm telling you, if you look at the actual standings,
I've seen the standings.
As you admitted, you don't watch football.
I see the standings. I don't watch football, but I see the standings.
I'm just saying, if you actually look at the standings, the NFC, like, the whole NFC North is in it. basically the whole NFC East is in
You think
it.
Detroit's really going to last? You're going to look me in the face and tell me Detroit's a playoff
I mean,
contender?
they've had 5 games within one score.
How
They
many
almost
playoff
beat the
games have the
Chiefs,
Detroit Lions?
which the Chiefs are whatever.
And they almost beat the Packers, but look what happened. Bad officiating. So, again, explain to me
So
how the Lions are going to
the
beat...
NFC West is all in it. The NFC North is all in it. The NFC
South,
East
you were
is
going
all
to
in
say
it.
you wanted to say the South, didn't you?
Who's in the South is barely
It's
getting
just
by.
the Saints.
South is just the Saints.
Okay. So boom. Saints.
So
Cowboys.
already that's like
Eagles.
13 teams that are like
Eagles.
legit in playoff consideration. In the AFC, it's the Patriots, and literally that's it. What's the next playoff team that you're sold
different.
on in the AFC?
That's different.
But that's what I'm
The
saying.
AFC's a totally different monster. The NFC, though, there's some pretenders in there. They look like contenders
there are
early.
there's definitely some pretenders in
Packers,
there.
Bears,
But what I'm
Cowboys.
saying is, everybody is neck and neck. Everybody is competing. In the AFC, it's not like that.
The AFC South is pretty competitive.
That's literally it.
The
East is damn near locked up already.
The East
as
and the
it
West
always
are
is.
locked up.
The West, I mean, the West
East and
is
the West
still
are
open.
The Broncos lost.
The Raiders are still in it. The Raiders are on the wild
Do
card
you
right
honestly-
now. The Raiders are in the wild card right now.
Wow, we're doing this.
I'm not saying they're gonna make it, but they're in there.
Doing this.
They're in.
How
there.
much money did Bruce pay you? How much money did Bruce from courtside pay?
So AFC West, AFC East, South, and then what's the other one? The
AFC
North. The
North.
North is trash. Ravens will win that. They should.
Ravens and Steelers. Because the Steelers find a way to just hang around. So you have an idea of at least the 4 to 6 teams of the AFC. The NFC, there's some teams that are pretending. The Lions, great secondary, not going to make it. Eagles.
If they win this week, are you
Too
going to change your mind?
inconsistent.
If they beat the Vikings this week, are you going to change your
No,
mind?
because the Vikings aren't going to do anything either. What are the
I don't
Vikings
know,
going to
man.
do? Do you trust Kirk Cousins?
No, but
Okay, then.
they got some juju back finally.
Oh, there goes some juju back. Okay.
Stephon Diggs scored 3 touchdowns.
Oh, you mean because all you have to do is throw him and Adam Thielen the ball because they get open like all the time. Gotcha. Okay, so aside from the Vikings, who could possibly make a wild card run, that's one. Do you see the Eagles doing it? Because they're highly inconsistent, by the way, and all the receivers drop passes. And eventually, what receiver?
I think you're looking at it too granular.
I'm looking at all the weaknesses of the teams that you were saying
What
are stacked.
what you need to look at is the wild card race. There's only 2 wild card spots, which means
the Niners aren't guaranteed to hold on.
There
but
could be 2 teams in the West who would take it, and then you got probably at least 1 team in the East who's going to be in consideration.
there's definitely 2 teams in the West.
And then you got another team in the
Cowboys
North.
are going to somehow.
You got
win
another
it.
1 to 3 teams in the North that might be in it too. So that's what I'm saying is that wild card
There's
race.
2 teams in the
that
North.
wild card race is serious, especially with the
Packers.
Rams. The Rams are already down 2 in their division. They're already looking up to Seattle and San Francisco, and they haven't even played Kyler Murray yet.
Here's why I think the Rams are in it, but they really
are in
close.
it, but
that Buccaneers loss is
it's
going to
tough.
hurt them. That Buccaneers loss is going to come back and severely bite them.
But what I'm saying
But
is my
Ramsey
whole initial
levels-
points, which you're not getting to, is that you're essentially blaming the scheme, but yet at the same time you're giving them the benefit of the doubt, saying they're going to figure it out.
They have
which
enough
doesn't
talent.
make sense to me.
Talent wins you games when the scheme fails you sometimes. Talent just wins you games. So the Rams are talented. They're not going to fall off a cliff. And if they do, that would be sad. But, I mean, historically, like 90% of all teams that lose the Super Bowl, the next year they don't make the playoffs. So we're kind of looking at history play itself out.
I mean, it's hard to lose a Super Bowl, man. Seattle was never the same. Carolina's not the same.
The Bills.
Who else? Atlanta hasn't been the same.
Atlanta is broken.
All 3 of those teams.
How you go 30 of 36, 30 of 34, a bunch of passing yards, no picks, bunch of touchdowns, and still lose Matt Ryan?
Ask Derek Carr.
But like Matt Ryan actually throws
Same
it deep.
dudes.
Matt Ryan actually throws it deep to his receivers, and I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Like, how do you have one of the best receivers in the league?
And what about
Good
Marcus
corners.
Peters trade?
Like I said, the same way Mika Fitzpatrick helped the Steelers defense, Marcus Peters makes the Ravens defense that much more dangerous.
I think
because you can't keep throwing in the AFC. He will get picks all day.
I think the biggest thing with Marcus Peters is now he's in a system that
actually plays to his skill set.
Not only does it play to his skill set, but it
encourages it.
It encourages it. It encourages
him, Jimmy Smith.
It encourages corners who can gamble it. Like Jimmy Smith has been taking his lumps for how long?
Consistent though. He's a consistent
But
starter.
exactly, he's a consistent starter. But he does take L's, and that's kind of what Baltimore's always been.
And
though.
you can't pick a corner to throw at now. And now whoever their corner, Marlon Humphreys.
Yeah,
good corner. Marlon Humphreys, Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith should probably play free.
Marlon Humphrey in the slot is scary.
I would move Jimmy Smith to safety.
Yeah, he could probably play it. They did it with Darius Webb.
But yeah, so that gives you
Eric
options.
Weddle,
They got ball hawks all across the.
No, Earl Thomas is a free safety, so they can't do that.
They can play Earl Thomas at strong safety. He's played strong safety before.
That's true.
But yeah, so my point is, with St. Louis, it was like between Weddle and Peters, like they just had too much gambling going on, and their scheme wasn't set up for that. The Ravens are set up for that, in that they scheme for their players to be in positions to gamble
because they have an aggressive pass rush.
They have an aggressive pass rush. They have
defensive line,
aggressive secondary. Like all levels are aggressive. That's how they play defense. That's how they've always played defense. So Peters is going to be in a culture where he can really thrive. He's got 11 games to earn himself a big time contract, or 10 games to earn himself a big contract.
I think the Ravens will pay him.
I mean, I think you got to, right?
You pay him. Who else in that division is good? No one. And also, it might help with Cleveland because they lost to Cleveland. They lost 40-26 to Cleveland. So if you got Humphrey, if you got a better secondary out there, and you got, let's say, Landry or Odell or Peters chasing Odell, you got something going.
Yeah, man. All right. And the other news of the week, Raiders right tackle Trent Brown, the free agent catch who's got a stupid bag for right tackle, is getting sued, I believe, right?
By his ex-girlfriend.
By his ex-girlfriend.
Alleged domestic violence. And he came out on Twitter and announced his innocence. So we'll see how that goes.
But yeah, I mean, I guess apparently he's already been posting weird stuff, sub stuff for a few months.
Yeah, for a while. And then one time he was like, I'm just posting song lyrics, guys. And it's like, nah, Trent. You're throwing shade at someone. But I respect it.
But yeah, so he's accused of multiple domestic violence encounters. And the Raiders have always taken a proactive, non-domestic violence stance, which is ironic now that their biggest.
Yeah, but if it's a lie, then he didn't commit any domestic violence. So my thing is, women lie sometimes, especially with domestic violence. And how hard is it for you to believe that, he got mad and allegedly hit her because he's like 6'10" or some shit? All she got to do is throw the accusation.
So he's accused of 9 claims, including assault, battery, breach of non-material partnership agreement, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Yeah, see, that's a lot.
Would it be more believable if she filed like domestic abuse, specifically like emotional abuse? Would that be more believable than her saying like she was like battered?
Anyone can say emotional abuse. Like literally, you could sue anyone for emotional abuse, but it's impossible to prove sometimes.
There are instances of like domestic abuse where they're not physical, they're verbal or like financial, whatever it is. They'll do something to make sure they have that power and advantage over somebody. So what if someone claimed that like they're doing some crazy shit and
that's always possible. But I look at it as, because relationships are two people and not one person, y'all both played a role in it, So unless y'all gonna hash out, hey, I did this and I did this, I can't put it all on one person. So I think we just got.
I get what you're saying. I think that's also kind of a cop out, though.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's say